And the awkward moment of silence. Good morning. Morning. Seward, Texas. Hey, I walked in the room and he crawled down before I even fed him. Hey, Drew. Uh-huh. We got some appetite. He's like, feed me, brother. I want to go on national internet. You got some appetite. Hi, Jenny. Good to see you. Not much delay today. The boy's got an appetite. Don't miss none, though. Good to see y'all. Talked to some of you already this morning in Seward's inspirational hour. He's still tearing up them skulls. He keeps trying to climb up and sit on them, and then he tips them over. Oh, you do more than try. You brighten my day every time you go live. It's those channels that are genuine that make us a community, Seward. The fluff and stuff to get views is commercial. Me, I just prostitute my dragon eating. You gonna show me good side? Yeah. He may take a half an hour to digest a little bit, but he'll be back for more today, I'm pretty sure. See if we can get a better picture of him with the light the way it is. You just have a picture offset. I got some black in there. Try to get it up even further. That's a pretty accurate view of what he actually looks like color-wise. Well, Tex, what I do is I buy the couple dollar bag of romaine lettuce. It's got like 3 heads in it. They're maybe a foot long. Uh, that's enough food for probably 10 days. I keep my fridge really cold because I was a chef for a lot of years, so I know that the closer to 32 than 40 is better. So it's not very wilted at all after 10 days. And then I bought chicken in the Walmart. You can get it for freeze-dried mealworms. It was like $2 to last me 2 months. Now I do buy live mealworms when I can. I usually spend $25 on 2,000 of them, and those will get you for a month, month and a half. Now you can buy the bedding and put them in there, and they'll reproduce, and you never have to buy them again. Crickets, yeah, you can get 1,000 for 25, $30, and that, you feed him 2 dozen a day. But he can live, or they say the adults can live entirely on vegetation. Since I put in those 3 extra skulls and moved the cave around, it's not where it was comfortable with him anymore. Seward, he has been all over this thing. He was moving around in the middle of the night. It's like, this ain't my home no more. I gotta, trying to climb up the walls, knocking skulls over. He's really pissed about the hammock. Let me tell you, he is irate because I didn't set it up on the perfect angle that I usually give him to lay on the one edge. And he keeps repositioning like he ain't comfortable. I didn't do it to torment him. It's not the thing. But the last 3 days, that boy's been scooting around a lot, eating 2 meals. Don't know if it has to do with the change in the weather or not. Yeah, some of the looks he gives you kind of. I had one video that was great where he sat looking right at the TV screen and you could have swore he was a frog. His old chin was full of lettuce and he's a good old boy. Never complains out loud. His biggest thing is after I clean a cage, he likes to go shit in the food dish. Don't know why. I guess it's just his opinion of things. That's why the food dish isn't there. Oh, too modest to look at the camera? How soon before you got to bring in the tortoises and turtles, Drew? Do you actually wait for a frost or? Got that stare, don't he? I got my one eye on you. Yeah, I was wondering because I know that we would take note. The turtles out in the lakes were there up until like into October, and then you didn't see them in November or December anymore. We figured they'd hibernate around that time, bury themselves in the mud or whatever. Iguanas can get really large, especially in captivity. The one I rescued we had was not quite 6. I'd have loved to say it was 6 feet long, but it was like 5'10". Saucy Anon. Well, I'm just gonna show you how he's gonna dig through the wall to get out. This is what he's been doing for 3 days since I cleaned the cage, or 2 days, whatever it was. Yeah, on the inside I use that reptile disinfectant spray. Oh yeah, Saucy. I mean, it hit the it hit the food dish and he was on it. There was no. I mean, he came over before I put it in the aquarium, literally. Oh, I can't see the picture. I'm reading the chat. I gotta move. I don't know if I can get you an angle on him with that stupid. The way the lights are, he's really flushed out on the. See, it gets even worse over there. That's about the best. Actually, I just have the camera sitting on the water battery lantern. I don't know if I'd jump in with sharks either. I mean, to be honest, as a little kid, my dad started dragging me on the ice fishing at the age of 5, and the lakes were big, and they would freeze over, and it'd be like all cloudy ice, and then there'd be an edge, and then blue ice just beyond that, where you couldn't even see that it was really ice. And I always was afraid a big old whale would come and just pop out of there. Oh, I quit feeling that way around 45 or 46. Yeah, he really goes at it when he eats. That long pink tongue he has. You really get a chance to see it when he's attacking live crickets, when he's got to really reach out there to catch them. Well, that's what my videos usually are, Saucy, is reptile eating. Yeah, it's weird which ones you're afraid of. Snakes really freak me out. I've been around them all the time, and everywhere I was outdoors there were blue racers and black racers, but not many poisonous snakes. Yes. Well, I know if you go get more lettuce, you'd eat, right? Uh-huh. Yeah, they're still watching you. No privacy, I tell you. He's a pig, yeah. No, got a crow outside today. I got acorns dropping like crazy today after all that rain. Squirrels come in the yard, they aren't even there a whole minute, they're leaving with their mouths packed. Do you have something to say, Reptar? Or are you just gonna sit there and look obnoxious? I feed him romaine lettuce and freeze-dried mealyworms. I kind of alternate with the freeze-dried with the crickets and the mealyworms because I do live bait too with both of those when I can afford it, and the weather allows it to be shipped. But very inexpensive to feed. An Asian water monitor. Yeah, I've seen a couple of them in different nature videos. Well, Stuart, thanks for hanging out this long, brother, and we appreciate you caring about everybody and mentioning everybody that needs your help with Swamp Fox and everyone like that needs our prayers and bring us together. Appreciate it, Stuart. Try see you in somebody else's stream today later. Do I pet him? I like to rub the top of his head like he's a dog. He don't care for it. He's like, do I have to put up with this? The kids now, when it was, I got him for my grandkids, and the three of them had him out every day, and handled him, and they're, way preteens. So when I pick him up, he don't mind. Yeah, I've seen a few water moccasins when I was down south, and I'm telling you, they do not look happy. I'd rather face a gator. Are you going to show them your good side again, or just profile? Yeah, I'm talking to you, Kermit. I'm going to give you the bullfrog view. Oh, the light's not going to like it, but Mr. Bullfrog, you don't like that. Yeah, Texas. He's from Australia. It's a central desert region, which is populated with a lot of growth. It's not a lot of sand. It's kind of a red clay color. There's usually water not too far from where they habitate, and they're mostly vegetarian. Younger, they do need the meat, but as an adult, once they're fully grown, they could actually live just off of vegetation. He really likes romaine lettuce. He won't eat kale. He won't eat a couple of the other lettuces. The radicchio he will eat, but finicky about it. And then I've chosen crickets and mealworms as the meat. Banana family, good to see you. Good day to you. Do you like ranch dressing? No, but I do have a crouton that I buy for him that's red that makes a real loud crunching noise when he eats it. But he still gets fat off a salad, so kind of kills that whole theory. Uncle. Yeah, he's a nice beardy. Now, Tex, they do have a one issue. They're usually calcium deficient, so they do a calcium powder. Excuse me, that they put on the live bait. They got a tickle. Yeah, I jumped up about 10 minutes ago. The lights were flashing in the cul-de-sac. And I thought cherries and berries, and I looked and they were green lights and orange lights. thought maybe that was Border Patrol or something. I usually do a live stream and feed him once a day. He'll eat a couple times if he's in the mood. And then we just chit chat, so I have company for the day. Well, I figure it's just karma's payback because I make fun of everybody in the family who posts their dogs and cats and pets all the time. So as soon as I got the lizard, I had to put him on Facebook, put him on YouTube. Okay, I'm a kook with a pet. No, I used to take our small iguana and put it on my shirt on my chest and go outside, and it was so terrified of outdoors because it was so small that it wouldn't move the whole time it was out there. But the funnest one I had, Tex, was the blue and gold macaw that I had. That, I didn't clip its wings, and I took it everywhere. All right, Truth Seeker, well, thank you for stopping in. You're always welcome. Everybody that works has to do that eventually during the day. There we go again. We're going to try to... Now, he fell off of this thing about 6 times the other day trying to clean the glass, and he's trying to get through the glass to the reflection of the other hammock. There you go. See, I got too much of a curve in the hammock. He wants it straighter. And like every good parent, I'll probably succumb and move it around for him so he's happy. But right now he's getting himself some exercise, so we're going to let it go. Now, though this is one sign of a lizard's not being comfortable, is they'll try and stand on the side and crawl their way out constantly, but he's not doing it constantly. It just isn't his old home he's used to. I put the rock in a different place. The hammock's on a different angle. There's 3 more skulls. Well, he's going to try to make some privacy. You're losing a cat tree? I cut down a sassafras tree and made my own purchase for my blue and gold macaw. Because sassafras is non-toxic to animals, most animals. Well, I have to a certain extent control the temperature. There are other lizards that you don't have to, nearly as much, iguanas, for example. But according to everything I can read, their comfort zone is like 90 degrees to 105 degrees. Obviously, it gets cool at night there, so Yeah, if I was still able and workable now, Drew, he would have a 10-foot by 12-foot cage enclosure, a couple of friends. I built some really large cages for our cockatiels. And I've been toying with turning the room into a more damp with a pond and misters, and it's expensive. I mean, I could rebuild my whole trailer for the cost. Yeah, Tex? Well, I had some parents that raised me to be responsible for my own actions. I never hit a woman unless you're told by your dad, kind of things. Well, you are really putting on the show for him today. Well, back when I did build them, it was nice because I worked in the furniture factory that I had the keys to, and I could buy at cost anything they had in the building. And they had uh, 20 sheets of Lexan plastic that they had a job for they didn't use. They cost me $2 for a 4x8 sheet of Lexan. So then it was no problem building nice big cages. All right, Banana, thanks for stopping in. Post more of those great videos. As long as you're entertaining them, Reptar, I might as well just leave the live out. It's when you get too boring. Oh, okay. But yeah, I didn't think you were leaving. And I appreciate what you say, Tex. I've got things that I'm going to have to answer for someday, but all in all, I tried to do the right thing. Man, building cages, going fishing, none of that stuff is available to me anymore. Things are winding down, and I have a lifetime of good memories. Sloth. I'm the sloth. But I have a lifetime of good memories. And I still get to see my grandkids occasionally. There just aren't that many of us that were blessed enough to raise 3 kids and then turn around and get to be the nanny for the 3 grandkids you get. He's actually just waiting for me to give him more food. That's why he just keeps looking at me like, aren't you the food machine? Where's that next food? All right, Jenny, thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. You guys make me feel like I'm not alone. Last night, Drew, was the first night he's been active in probably 3 months after dark. He'll usually crawl up onto the highest point of the hammock he can balance on and close his eyes and go to sleep somewhere between 10 and 11 o'clock at night. A little earlier sometimes in the winter. And he don't move again until I turn the light on, turn off the heat, bring his food in. But like I say, if you change their cave around, they really aren't comfortable for a while. Especially when the glass, you only clean one side at a time for a while, then you clean both sides, and it sees all that reflection and thinks he's got to check everything out. Yeah, it's a heat tax. There were almost two of them. I was going to save a little one that was having some mouth issues, but there was a male too, and I can't set up a second cage, not right now. There are a lot of lizards out there that are social, and one of them on their own doesn't usually do well, but bearded dragons are well known for being on their own real well. You just go and go and go. Ah, I know, Tex. That's like hamsters. I would have hamsters, and they were on the wheel all night long. After the first ones with the metal creaking and squealing, we tried plastic, and that vibrates. Oh my God, that's 10 times louder. Birds are pretty good at night. All you really need to do is throw a blanket over their cage, and they shut up for their whole night. Even my big, huge parrot did not like dark. It would start getting dusk, and he would go from being king shit, which is important to parrots, how high your head is. So he would hold his head just above mine, sitting on my shoulder, until it got dusk. And then he would slide down, and his head would lower it about my ear, and then it'd get a little darker. And before you know it, he's tucked in behind the back of my neck, with his head hidden under my hair, because I had hair back then, like a little chicken shit. But during the day, he's Mr. Tough Guy. Oh, it had babies. That's awesome. I love watching the small turtles. When I was a kid in Ohio, we raised rabbits for meat, and my best friend and I. And we had a couple of Flemish Giants babies escape, and it was hilarious. Like 2 years later, when you're looking out in the field and polka dot rabbits running around. Let's see, the first job. Well, where someone else employed me would be at 13. I went to work in a general store. But by that time, I had been raising rabbits for like 4 years, and we had about 3 acres of land on different farmers' fields that we grew our own oats on and sweet corn to sell. But the first job was in my uncle's store. At 13 in the summer, I made 35 cents an hour. Car wash? Nice. Yeah, I don't know if anybody will beat the 35 cents an hour for their first job, but yeah, what about you, Tex? I remember at 17, I was working on the farm full time and at a farm market part time and at Ben Franklin unloading the truck. So I had 3 jobs at 17. I turned 18 and I couldn't keep a job because they didn't want to hire anybody that was going to file for unemployment. Yeah, those are kind of menial labors that teach you you better figure out what you really want to do in life, Drew. But I don't know, Tex. I may have to argue that my first real job was when my dad set me down at 6 and said it's time for you to start providing for the family. And then he took me fishing and hunting. So that was my really first responsibility of providing. A dance hall? You were a dancer? I did not know that about you. Yeah, there were a few cash jobs, mowing lawns and stacking beer. You probably didn't even think it tasted good at 14. Yeah, 13 I think were the child labor laws back then. I think the first one that was required to pay minimum wage would have been at 17. The farm market had to pay me $1.90 an hour. And I was still going to high school, living on my own, and that was enough money to live off of. You drank beer at the car wash? Well, I was really never introduced to beer until I was older. It was moonshine where I grew up. And Dad would rub our gums with it when we were cutting teeth, so you start out that young on the shine, beer just doesn't really do it for you. I did one whole winter work on the farm trimming fruit trees. Now that was an experience. You're out in the middle of an orchard all by yourself, and fruit trees grow these tall, straight stalks they call suckers, and you got to take those off. So you climb up in the top of the tree. You might only be 10, 12 feet off the ground. You're not that high. But when you get done cutting all these 3-foot suckers off, you're the tallest part of the tree. There's nothing to grab onto anymore. But you got to take the branches that cross over and trim them and reshape the tree, and it only takes about 2 years to notice a huge difference in the production of that tree. BMX bikes. Oh, the unicorn got in the shot again. I'm gonna have to give that unicorn a name besides the unicorn that poops M&Ms. Chris Bennett. Hey. He's trying to force his way through that glass. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I can give you a different view here, maybe. Another 1,000 years, you'll wear that glass out. This is what it's been like for the last 3 days. Hey, the Jiggy shows up. We're just watching my lizard go insane. It's kind of a long stream because he's kind of going crazy. We added some skulls, moved his cage around, cleaned both sides of the glass at the same time. So he thinks he can see all the reflection of everything. Go ahead and make some more noise, Reptar. Scream and holler about how unhappy you are, huh? That's cool, Drew. I know, real Jiggy. I live in the park and they'll shut the freaking internet down or power down to hook up new trailers. And it's like, it's my only source of outside anything. Now I have to entertain myself. All right, Drew. Thanks for stopping in. Last time I moved his cage all around, it took him over a week to calm down. F off Productions, my goodness. I just don't even know what to say. Talks to text sucks. It's hard to believe, F.O., but to piss a lizard off, all you have to do is be nice and clean his cage. Hey, usually it's a half-hour stream before he'll come down and eat, but this morning he was eating by the time the food hit the dish, and he's been going nuts all day since, so I just left the stream up. It's not removed. It's still there, real Jingy, but it's not on the same angle now. Here, I'm going to show you. That's where it normally is, but this one suction cup there is lower, and this one's lower, so I don't have the same angle on the hammock. Oh, and he's really not happy about that. And I added 3 more skulls. Those 2 there, and this one that was out that he shoved all the way back under there, so now there's 6 skulls. And I washed both the inside and the outside. So he thinks he can see the reflection, and no, I think it's a combination of the new digs, change it around, and the fact that he can see the reflection real well. But yeah, he's going to town today. I was worried the first time this happened, but this has happened every time that I do a big change. Well, here's my other dragon. Nice pewter. Oh, get a better angle. Nice pewter dragon. It's supposed to be a bottle opener. You see a little hook there, but the only way to open a bottle with it is to take the lighter out. But I've had that for about 11 years now. Keeps everybody from stealing my lighters. And he took I think that's part of it. Ranching in Central Texas. Just not getting lost when you leave the house in Central Texas is hard. I think that's part of it too, because I could go rearrange it exactly like it was and he'll calm right down. But I think also part of it is that I usually either wash the inside or the outside so it leaves some dirt so you can see that it's glass. I think that's part of it too. Because the reflections are amazing in this glass. He spent the first day walking right off the edge of the hammock, dropping down below where it's all wrinkled up from him digging so much. Yeah, there's so much space out there. He puts a beer back in the fridge. I'm not sure if that made anybody happy or not. Don't put my beer back in the fridge. I'm having a beer right now. See? Root beer. Well, drinking the beer and smoking the flower. Or up there, he can have the vegetation part of it. Talk about the old days. My dad would Lone Star dashboard as we drove. The old days? The old days where we got into my best friend's dad's truck on Saturday morning and he would go around to do the running around and we'd listen to NASCAR on the radio and try not to break the inside of the truck. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna lay down and digest for a few minutes. Oh, yeah, I can increase the light by taking the screen out from underneath it. Doesn't help you guys, but it helps him more. But if I take the screen off, he will jump out of the cage. Now you look comfortable. F off I've noticed since the year that I've watched multiple hours every day. People are people. And really the only thing I see that upsets me is when one person says, this is the way things should be done because I believe it, and you're wrong if you do it a different way. Yeah, that's the thing I have, since I was 5 years old, have not liked is other people tell me that this is the right way. My story was that I couldn't see the blackboard, and they said, well, you're at the front row, so that's all there is. I'm like, in reality, I could move up. All you have to do is let me move my desk up closer to the blackboard. Well, that's not right. I'm like, how can it not be right? If I need to see, how can it not be right for me to see? Explain that to me. Then the superintendent tried to explain it. And it had to go to the school board. I had to have a special allowance to sit at the front of the teacher's desk. Now I'm like, authority is bullshit. Yeah, lizards and first jobs have been the discussion of the day. I think the infighting is jealousy and the conclusions that people jump to that just spread like wildfire without having the facts. It happens in every walk of life. It's sad that it happens with people that should be so enlightened that they wouldn't want to jump to conclusions. But I agree, this is crazy. And not to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but there are people in the chats that manipulate the situation that you got to wonder whose side they're really on. You know, they're pretty good at it. It doesn't show. But one word and it gets expanded. Pretty much. If it weren't for the lizard, nobody would come in. I'm by you. How's it going? Good to see the South finally woke up. Reptar ate it the second the food hit the food dish and been jumping around the cage like a madman. Yeah, that's when they get personal and attack. It's not a good reflection on them, and it shows a lack of stability in their belief system to begin with. But that's the problem is once there's an issue that somebody brings up, whether it's real or not, everybody has to take a side. You can't be neutral. That's just this day and age. Nobody can just stay in their own lane. They gotta drag your ass over to all the other lanes. Give me your opinion. I don't care if you know. You have to have an opinion. I'll tell you what happened, even though I wasn't there and just got it fourth hand or fifth hand. That's in every walk of life, everywhere you go. And it's just sad that it also is spread into the community. And like I said, I think it's by design. But I will say this, we are living in the most difficult time there ever was for one simple reason. Everybody can define every word they say however the fuck they want. there's no word means this anymore. The word means whatever I think it means. Yeah, I was born with birth defects, and I simply wanted equality. I wanted to get the free school education. And it was like, but we have rules. Well, there was no American Disability Act at the time, believe me. But it also it makes me who I am, so that wouldn't be who I was if that wasn't part of what has made me. Not only does it cost a lot, if you just audit and never get in trouble, it's like insurance. It's cheap if you don't have to use it. Well, here, if you have to pay the price, the government has you in the ringer. They're going to drag you through every aspect of the system there is, and at every point they charge you. You don't get any justice free. And even if you have a legitimate situation, the part of the law that's supposed to be on your side to fight for you, they only do it for the money. So again, you have to pay. We're going to give you freedom, but man, if you try and use it, you're going to have to pay. And I usually don't do a lot of drama in the channel, but I will answer to anything that's asked. So if you don't want to hear my opinions, just watch the lizard eat. Oh, mute the channel. But you can't text. They won't let you. If you're going to go on here, they're going to come in your room and they're going to demand to hear your opinion, to hear what you know, and to know what side you're on. Now, I don't know which kind of copy is. You don't have to explain any of it up off, but what's inside going on is sometimes a lot worse than we could or want to imagine. That's the whole thing with accountability and transparency, is that it gets so ugly behind closed doors because it can. When every single person with a badge on's first answer is, I wasn't there, so I can't do anything, you're not going to get any help. Well, the system that we have, in my opinion, when they started it out, they said, we know there's going to be corruption, and we're going to try and make it so difficult for them to increase the corruption that the status quo is going to be checks and balances. And still, you've got the big issue of the federal government, the state government, the local government, and they each have to have their part, but they can make it so difficult for us to know what's going on by just, oh, well, that building's down, that you have to talk to them down there. Oh, well, we're closed. We can't access the government. They allow us certain times the privilege of talking. But that's how bad it's got. It used to be one sheriff in the whole town, and he could throw people out that weren't worthy. And now you've got government's so big and so corrupt that it's not even a war. There's no battle that you can win that makes the war even closer to ending. It's a struggle that's every single day. And when I really get down, you got to remember that the last thing they put at the beginning of the Constitution in the preamble was the pursuit of happiness, not the guarantee of happiness. And part of it is that we value things more in a relationship to where we're at. And right now in society, things are good. You relatively don't have to be afraid. You show a little common sense and you can go through most of your life without issues. There isn't conflict with every person you come up against. But that's what the government was there for, was the conflict. But they went so far beyond conflict and reached out to control pre-crime. And like I said, once a word can mean anything you want it to mean, that's you learn the go-to words. Interference, disorderly conduct. Forget what the actual meaning legally of the word is. It means anything they want it to. I mean, I studied in high school. My distributive education and retail merchandising course was for a co-op. I worked in a store. I learned about stores. I learned about sales. And I was so sick of it by the time I got done learning what it was, how you control people. You decide where you build your store, how you build your store, where you put everything in the store, where the lights are, where the warmer spots are, where this is, where that is, so that you get them to buy what you want them to buy. Not so you provide what they want. Well, you're going to manipulate every single action by choice. That's retail. Now, if you extend that into the government, they picked up the same retail programs. How do we get them to do exactly what we want? It doesn't have to be reality. It can be a lie. It can be a truth. It can be a change in temperature, the background of the building. It's all consciously thought out to control you. Wow. I really stepped up on the soapbox. I'm surprised I can even get my foot up there. I usually can get it up high enough to put it in my mouth. Yeah, Reptar. Hey, New Mexico. Good to see you, man. Reptar's been special today. He was eating by the time the lettuce hit the bowl, and he's been running around trying to get out for the last hour. Yeah, he's finally wore himself down. Well, I went to community college tax for, I wanted to be a CMA, certified management accountant, the big boys. Spirit, hello. And when I learned about accounting was that you can make those numbers mean anything you want. Another profession I couldn't go into. Nice to see you here, Spirit. Come in and catch some of my live. Your garden must be about done. I saw a stream with some of your artwork in it. Apparently you like the color red. Well, Tex, Good thing it's my stream and not yours, so we don't have to hear it. Kidding. Yeah, cabbage runs late, and the melons until it frosts. The Psychopath's Bible. The Psychopath's, it's a simple little thing. It's, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Well, you're probably just about done for cookouts for the year, and you never did get the pistachio shells. How disappointing. Yeah, I heard that. No, yeah, the title's a clickbait, Chingy. There's a book out that everyone should read called 666, and it has absolute nothing to do with religion. It's a psychological discussion of splitting the personality. You'd have to read it. It's insane. It's hilarious through the whole book. No frost. We could hit a frost. We're probably a couple of weeks away yet from any real serious threat of a frost. The lake's starting to cool down. It needs to cool down a little bit more before we get that cold. And we haven't had early frost in a long time. All right, I'll be there. I don't have anywhere to go. Job, the psalm according to Job. You want to go be at the picket lines? Oh, you want to go live at the picket lines? Yeah. Now we used to have a lot more strikes back in the day. I actually was president of a furniture workers union that voted to go on strike, but never had to. Hopefully you didn't read that in reflection. Yes, there was a time where it was necessary because of the manufacturing situation for people in labor to get together as a group because as an individual you have no power. But like anything else, the time laws caught up was time for the unions to not be necessary anymore. Do the remedies now outweigh the advantages the union gives you? I'll give you one to wrestle with. All right, purely from the perspective of being human, demons and angels. There's a whole part of the Bible that isn't in the Bible because the authority decided that they didn't want to have the angel-demon war because people wouldn't read the book. But you have angels and you have demons. Now, if you look at what an angel is a creature that does exactly what they're told without consideration. Just, you tell me to do it and I do it. No free will. The demon was an angel who said, but I want to do something different. So, really, whose side would you be on? The one that just does what they're told no matter what, or the one that thinks for themselves? Demonic angels. Angels with free will. What that would be like us, the government, saying if you speak out for your rights, you're wrong. Right? Just something to think about, not that critical. I'm a demon, Jim. I think I drove my mom so far over the edge one time she said she'd rather have a demon for a son than me. Yeah, the new generation in certain areas of this country have been brought up to think that we're the worst place there could possibly be on the earth. I had my son in a gifted program at the zoo in grade school and sent his ass to Peru for 2 weeks. He came back and had a whole nother respect for America. And that's not even a bad place. He came back and they went to the trading area and was planned out ahead. And so what they asked us to send were any t-shirts that are color with anything on them. And he came back and said, Dad, they came and gave me anything I wanted for a t-shirt. Why is it like that? Why don't they make t-shirts there? But you can notice in every society, the more progressed they become, the more they have to be offended by things. Oh, there's not enough diversity. There's these people that are being, this small group here that's being this, that. We have to do something about it. It's horrible. When you step back and you take a look at it in the democratic huge cities there are, just horrible. Who would want to live there? Well, I was my grandkids' nanny, so they know a lot about a lot. Every day with them was a training exercise, a teaching moment. Critical thinking. They learn critical thinking at 3 years old, and it's just that creates trouble for every person in authority to them the rest of their life. There are no sheep in my family. But I've been through more than or decades of things changing over time and how things were thought of and what was important in their schools this day and age that don't teach math or English. Most people, if you haven't hit them in the back of the head, don't turn around and look. They just keep going forward. I am more than willing to not think about any of it, to put it all off on some deity to take over and make everything okay, and I'll just get up and eat and go to work and come home and go back to bed and get up and eat and go to work and come, and I'm going to be fine with that. They don't want more out of life. And that's facilitated by the way everything is organized in society. We're going to make it that easy for you to do that. We like your head in the sand. We don't want you educated. We'd rather you think education is bad, that knowing things is bad. You can't be your own person if you've learned what other people think. And, and when they do pick a topic, they try to do something about it, but the whole issue is that it was not getting rid of a disease, it was treating one of the symptoms, which is everybody not being responsible for themselves. It's your fault I'm angry. When did that ever happen? If I'm not wrong 2 or 3 times a day, I'm not even making an effort. Everybody needs to buy my product. I tell you, retail and marketing is just nasty business. When they study what color to make it so you'll buy more of it. And when the advertising got sued for not showing what they really were selling, the freaking courts say, well, look, it's a commercial. You don't have to tell the truth. You're not really responsible for providing the product you're showing everybody. That'd be crazy. And I'm like, what? What was this? This was a big decision back then. Commercials were held liable for what they showed on TV as a commercial. Come and buy this car. Well, yeah, we made a real car, but we really sell plastic cars. Or, well, our burger wouldn't look good on TV. So we made one that really looks good that's not made out of anything that's food. Well, it's okay to lie to convince us to buy it. The government, through the court, says so. And the whole camera thing, I don't understand why the auditors don't say, look, the government took us to court and said there's no privacy in public, so we can put cameras up anywhere we want. We the people didn't argue that point. The government argued it. They made the ruling. But when we try to use it, then we're criminals. Gun reform has nothing to do with mass murders and everything to do with mental illness. And just angry, stupid people. More people are killed with hammers than guns. Come on, guys. It's like you can't make that argument and have your eyes even close to open. And assault rifles, there's a good one. What the hell does that mean? Yeah, dads have ways of pulling us aside, getting our attention, and saying something that we're going to remember the rest of our lives. Mine was, son, a lot of people don't appreciate people who know something about everything. Sometimes it's just better to not tell people. How do you how do you communicate when what you say means whatever you want it to mean? When every single word of the English language has no definition anymore. You can't say anything anymore. The reptile staring at you. Ooh, yeah, he really wants more food. I don't know. What's up, reptile? It's just you can't have an honest conversation when the words don't mean what they mean. Oh, here comes the big leap. Bulk up for the winter. Yeah, I wonder if it confuses him that it's actually like spring in Australia, or almost spring. They do feel important and superior. There's no doubt about that. I gotta move off the chat so I can see the little window. I think he's looking at real Jingy, but he could be looking at New Mexico. No, they don't stink. There's no odor that comes from this cage, F off. It will if you let it get dirty. And water always smells, so if you have like turtles or anything, you have to be real careful about that. But no, there's absolutely no odor that comes out of that cage. I'm gonna get some close up here. Uh-oh, now we're harassing him. See, he's making the whole side of that glass dirty, running his claws up and down. turn the light down a little. Close the screen a little, shuts that light down. Well, thanks, dude. Yeah, I had a rain stream the other day. We had rain most of the day yesterday, then we had rain most of the night last night. I can imagine what comments those were. Check up on using that drone on the sheriff yet, Ben? Oh, you were talking about New Mexico's video. Yeah, I saw that. Oh, let's see. I'm projecting the soapbox. Well, Ben, my son-in-law had one, and he actually sat there and programmed what he wanted to do into it. Go up so many feet, surround here and there, and then land, and it just did it all on its own. And it had a video in it and everything. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I would crash a drone if I tried to fly one. Oh, is it a red dot? Yeah, I wonder. Well, you gotta put it on him to know. You can't just point it near him. It's got to be on him to be 100 feet. It's like those rangefinders that you get for hunting. You got to point at what you're looking at. If you just point somewhere in the field, who knows? You're just being careful and accurate, right? And it won't burn a hole in him or anything. Roasting peppers in front. Yeah. Hatch peppers? What are hatch peppers? Yeah, that's one of those few laws they didn't write, isn't it? It's when they make the law and the result doesn't actually come out what they wanted. Oh, we'll just charge rich people a lot more taxes. Where'd all the rich people go? Oh, they moved? Well, that's not what we wanted to happen. Oh, hash peppers. Salt in Dos Esquis. See how active he's been today? Last 3 days? Are they hot, or just... I mean, I'm a medium salsa kind of a guy. If it's any hotter than that, it blisters my lips. I think that was probably the only ice cream I ever had I didn't like was jalapeno ice cream with jalapeno chunks in it. It just didn't work for me. But stir fry, you got to have all the peppers in it you can get. But I like wasabi, which is a radish, so not that you can get real wasabi around here anywhere. Though I've had it when I was in Houston, Texas, and it don't taste anything like what you get at the local cat buffet. And roasted, smoked, almost anything is better. I do like good hot horseradish. I grew up where we had the red radishes. Mom would flour them and put them in the glass container until the water was bright pink. But we had radishes all the time. Trying to look at the chat and the window at the same time. They're just too tired to even fight it. A good habanero. My brother was a salsa king. He made all his gardens were always awesome, and he took the recipe said take a toothpick and poke it through the habanero, put the habanero in the jar, and then when you open it to eat it, you throw the habanero away. Well, of course not. He has to eat the habanero, but the salsa itself would blister my lips. Yeah, New Mexico, I get a complete cleaning inside and out of the glass, so the reflection's a lot better. I moved the stuff around, so it's like he's in a whole new cave the last 3 days. Added 3 new skulls. Mike, good to see you. Ghost peppers? Yeah, not me. Whoops, I don't want to be on camera. Quit filming me! Quit filming me! Get that camera out of my face! Why'd you put that right in my face? Forget poking the bear, I'm poking the dragon. And don't miss the little unicorn in the shot. No M&Ms today. Mike, I think it's the interference from the fans. But yeah, my audio is probably screwed up because of the fan, but it's the microphones on the TV. I get a lot better audio if I just record it on my phone, but I haven't tried putting on the headset and just using the mic from there. Would probably be better. Uh-oh, I see something in the morning weed. No, no cannabis for Reptar. I'm stingy that way. If he wants it, he can do the secondhand smoke bullshit. Look out! He's attacking! Calm down, boy. You're gonna break the glass. You can see the TV reflecting in the screen. That's about the only way I can show what's on my TV, or you get that mirror image thing. Here, let me show you. You get, oh, look at that. Works out good. Yeah. Wow, why is it working this time? If I stuck my hand in there, would he bite? No, not at all. There's no anger or aggressiveness in that boy. It wouldn't be regular. He was raised by 3 little kids for like 6 months, and they handled him all the time, but he doesn't bite. Yeah, demons are demons, and they made their choices. They live with them. No remorse. No, not in your hand either. You could pick him right up and he wouldn't care as long as you supported his belly. I've had other people stop by and hand feed him, so. And he doesn't really bite because he's got plates in his mouth. He more crushes, and his tongue goes out and picks it up, pulls it in. So it's not like he's got teeth anywhere. In my mini reef, I had a remora shark, and when I cleaned the cage on the inside when I'm scrubbing it out, he would come over and bite the bubbles off my arm because his mouth was like that big. All it could do was one of those little tiny bubbles. They're the sharks that you see that hang out underneath the real sharks, where they stick their head to it. Get Reptar some dentures. Then he probably would bite me. You know, I never have to move this camera, Reptar, and like I can hardly keep up with you today. I'm glad you're active like today. You were the last 3 days. So everybody can see that sometimes you just go nuts. You're crazy. And quit looking at me like you hear me. That really freaks me out. I haven't even looked. I've been an hour and a half talking. Oh, hour and 50 minutes. The simple life is the easiest route. Why complicate everything and make it so complex? You're so exhausted you couldn't even climb up in the hammock. You gotta just lay there and rest. But I may try a live stream from the headset to see if the sound's better. Because I noticed that the other day when I was listening to it from my other channel. Those fans going really screw it up. Well, Tex, you've done your part, believe me. She's gonna get out. What? What are you doing? Quit putting me on camera. You got that thing in my face. You guys are giving him a complex. The mannequin challenge. He'll do that. He'll win every time. He even does the blinking contest, and I can't beat him on that either. You can't see me. I'm standing still. I blend in with the green grass. Ecuador was fucking up Rio Paradise. What? No? No? You have no rights. I can film you. You're in my public area. I don't know if they could talk. I'd definitely only have a boy because who would want a girl lizard in there bitching about everything? Yeah, I considered my children experiments and my grandchildren experiments. Yeah, I've been an observational scientist from a very young age, and partly because you can't see or believe anything you see, you got to observe as much as you can. When your whole entire life is one nice, mellow LSD trip. Well, it's in the title. It's like when Ben Shapiro says, Boy Scout, it's in the title. Girl lizards. Bitchy's in the title. Girl. It's just personal experience. They could be wrong. It's just an opinion. Well, that's part of history. Democrats, socialists want to rewrite completely. Those things never happened. That's not what life is like. We need to rewrite history because we won and beat all you people. When there isn't real conflict, they create conflict. No, real G. The only real distinction in the lizards is you can't really have two boys together. They fight too much. So, girl and a boy, or multiple girls, or girls and a boy, just as long as you don't have two boys, you're good. Apparently, and that's only for the dragons. But I do have some perspectives on the whole women men thing. Not that I mean to offend. I really am just trying to be humorous about it all. I mean, I got daughters and granddaughters. Granddaughter. Oh, it's, I don't know. I notice personalities differences in just about every creature there is on the planet. If you want to put it in the scope of personality, I mean, part of his personality is every time I clean a cage, he runs over and shits in the food dish. That's his personality. Yeah, I just reread that comment, Gene. I could like say that about a lot of guys. They just lay around. Not really any personality. Now, my grandson that took care of him spent the night over here last weekend or the weekend before now, I think it was. And Reptar definitely snubbed him the whole time. He had his normal spot where he'd be looking right out here, and he'd turn around the whole night facing the other direction. Yeah, he'll crap in the water dish once in a great while, but he has the habit of just about every other cleaning, he'll, within an hour, right in the food dish. And if you ever see lizard poop, they don't pee, so they poop black and white. And the white part is whatever they condense from the water. That's their urine. Sometimes it'll be sloppy, but you figure it eats lettuce. Lettuce is what, 99% water. I think it was maybe head lettuce is the least amount of anything besides water, and it's 99.7% water. He may have worn himself out for a while. He'll have to lay down and relax. What the heck was that? Oh. That's what he did. That's the squirt you just saw. Right on cue, right after I get done explaining what it is, he just puts it on show. '96. That's what they're saying now. Yeah, that's 4% of something. This is not my platform. Oh, yummy! Now I get to clean the log. Reptile, you obnoxious. He pretty much avoids after he takes the crap going over top of it until it dries up. And then he pretty much ignores it. But that's one of the things I was worried about. He'd run through and get it everywhere, but he seems to be pretty good about avoiding it. Look at that fat guy, he can barely turn around. Build him a little tube with a toilet. Yep, yep. I hear you. I live that life. Resemble that remark, whatever the joke is. I used to be buff, and then I destroyed my joints, and I still know how to cook, so that became the issue. When you don't burn any calories, you shouldn't cook calories. He's just trying to find a way to get off camera. I never asked for his claw mission. That ain't happening. I have to wipe my own, and as long as I'm the one wiping my own, that's the only one I'm wiping. My grandkids are old enough to use the restroom on their own. You give me the bullfrog face? Just tell me if you don't think this ain't no bullfrog. Look at that bullfrog. Stick the camera right in your face, bullfrog. You don't like it when I call him that. I imagine. Oh. Well, I hear you, Jiggy. Hey, Drew. Yeah, when they figured out the Social Security program and they set it up in an annuity program away from the general fund, it was designed to last into the future. So, yes, it built up a bunch of money. Oh, when the government saw that, we got to put that in a general fund. My shovel's got to get into that thing. Or right now, we wouldn't be facing the issue where 3 and 4 people are paying for my disability Social Security. It wouldn't be like that. But oh no, there's so much money in there, we'll never need it. And they throw it in the general fund, and now we're Social Security. I mean, we have some social programs in our republic, but it's because we can. You can't put the ones in there that you can't afford. Well, Terry, you've been very entertaining today. I mean, you can watch the last 20 streams and he don't move. But after he woke me up in the middle of the night last night, he decided he deserved to be on to show everybody. So exhausted, you just gotta lay there. Well, you aren't any more active than I am, though, so. What do I believe? That's a big question, Jingy. The political answer is Judeo-Christian culture follows in line with what people should treat other people like. At 17, I was a youth minister for the Church of Christ. Oops. But I guess the problem I have accepting the fact that there's a super being that created everything that demands our allegiance. I mean, the morals that are taught in the Bible I have no qualms with. I think that that's the way people should treat each other. But if you get into studying all the religions and you start finding out that there was a whole book that they took out of the Bible because they didn't think people would believe anymore, it just, the more problem I have, I guess, is with the religion than the God. Because we're just people and we corrupt, and the gun, the law, an axe, anything is used when there's conflict to resolve it. It's too bad that it couldn't be resolved with words. But some conflict, the opinions of the opposing parties may have validity on both sides. But when the answer is that if you don't agree with me, I kill you, and then I'm right. And that seems to be the basic philosophy of religion over the years, is that we're right and we'll kill you to prove it. I mean, nothing's perfect, and all of existence is based, in my belief, on mutation. Survival is not, mutation is necessary for survival. And conflict is the result of that survival. You have the instinctual built-in genetic coding. You have the social environment that you've been grown up in. The culture that teaches you what it believes right and wrong is. I've always lended towards the American Indian culture that's really pretty violent culture that believes in kidnapping and rape and everything else. In reality, it brought about the extension of survival of the culture, but they believed we're on the earth, we're part of the earth, and let's just not fuck the earth up. I've been all over the place trying to grab the chat and say something that I'm not trying to offend anybody, or anybody has any other questions and want to discuss it further, I'm here. It should be that way. Everything should be. But like I say, right now, nothing, not one word means anything. It means whatever you want it to mean in the moment. I can be a 6-year-old Latino girl in the morning, in the afternoon I can be an 85-year-old African Aborigine. I can choose, because that's how we define life now. Whatever I want it to mean. So how can you have a discussion when you can't even start with the words mean the same thing? I mean, I had trouble with science because you would read the experimentation and the observation, and then from there they would reach beyond that and try to create these, well, this means this, or this is the result of this, when all they have is a set of circumstances and the results. If you want to look to nature, I would have to say that the elephants in Africa would be one of the first things I would point out. Was they decided that the male bull elephants were too dangerous because they were the ones that attacked, so they got rid of them. Well, then all the juvenile males had nobody to hold them in check, and they all went crazy, apeshit. Because the family culture is necessary for you to be in a society of nonviolence, where words matter. You look at our Yellowstone National Park. Oh, let's clean the waterways up, and look what happened. Screwed the whole environment up. They let it go back to natural with the brush along the banks and everything, and was causing them problems. If the government has a solution, you can pretty much guarantee it's wrong. They're not going to get the result they intend. You're getting the color variation from the hammock, the light coming through the hammock. That will right there put you in. The cops have this thing, cooperation. Let's just get this done real easy. Don't put me through anything. Don't ask me no questions. Just comply, and everything will be good. And then they have the other thing where, look, you didn't want to answer my questions, so now you're going to get. It's like they think law is subjective to how you act to them. And law is supposed to be objective to the situation. The cop is like an actor. Everything out of their mouth is a lie. And the reason I'm saying that is because, well, someone else designed this outfit for them to wear that is a representation of who they are. Someone else decided what they were going to do. And then someone else taught them how to get the result they wanted. Nothing out of their mouth is from them. They're just actors. They've been taught this line, this way to think. They don't think for themselves. They don't react for themselves. And this is a generalization. Not every cop and not every person is like that. But this is what I see. I see actors. That's like, so then you go to the actors in real life that want to give their opinion of politics. It's like, I don't care what you think because your whole life is based on being able to lie. The better the liar you are, the more money you get paid. The less I want to hear your opinion on one goddamn thing there is. It means nothing to me and holds no weight. You're the lowest person there is if your job is to lie to people. Yeah, that would be a civil conversation, but they don't want to hear it. They want you're being difficult, so now I got to escalate, and now it becomes you're resisting. You're not complying. Well, where's your jurisdiction to make me comply? Well, Reptar, I'd have to say you put on the best show you've put on in a long time. You ate, you shit, you jumped around like a maniac. You gave us a lot of nice close-ups. I appreciate you today. Everybody give Reptar a hand. I've had a couple of viewers in here throughout the whole thing, which makes me happy. I appreciate everybody who watches this after it uploads. Leave a comment if you want. You can certainly express a different opinion than I have. Everybody's got one. With that, we gone.